You can be as brilliant as they come, but it's these work ethics, work habits, personal and professional, that you have to keep up. It's like professional athletes, like Derek Jeter. I always say, hey, listen, Derek Jeter played 21 years, and every day before a game, he was out there taking fielding practice, and he was out there taking batting practice. Why? He just wanted to polish that.
Filmmaker Magazine presents Back to One with Peter Rinaldi.
Paul Calderon is an actor. He sat down with me at the Public Theater in New York City to talk about the work.
What is your entry point, your initial entry point into the character?
That's a good question, whether the material is good or whether it's bad.
I mean, is it different? It's different when it's bad?
Yes. It has to be. I mean, you can't approach terrible material the way you approach great
this
material.
This is interesting, yes.
There's no way.
Right. And does that mean that if it's bad, it doesn't deserve your intricacies, and it's around?
That's a great question. Intricacy, I would say, it just doesn't involve you as much. I know a lot of people say, there are no small roles, just small actors, but, something bad is something bad.
Yeah.
If you see a bad movie, you're gonna the first thing that you want to say to yourself is, when is this gonna be over? Yeah. When do I leave, When I see bad material, for me, it just doesn't have any rhythm. To me, everything is about rhythm. Everything is in rhythm. Yeah. So if I'm reading something, it was written with the rhythms of the inherent rhythms of the writer. So I'm allowing myself to be open to those rhythms. If the guy's a really good writer, you see any good writer, he's going to create a rhythm. Mm-hmm. If a rhythm is not created, then it's going to be kind of like bumpy. It's like a bumpy ride. Mm-hmm. So, that's the best way that I can explain that.
And I just got to ask now. Right off the bat, you can tell if something has that rhythm. Mm-hmm. No, I just find that fascinating. And so, let me back up even more though. If you sense that, so you're taking the job even though it has this bumpiness, even though it's bad writing, because you
yes
have
no.
to. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes and no. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. If you need the money, an actor is always okay. Do I need this to further my career?
Right.
Do I need this because I need a break from the mundane quality of my non-acting life?
Yeah.
Do I need this because I need the money? Do I need to get away?
Right. I mean, that's just the reality. It's just the reality of the,
Yeah, for instance, I just turned something down, which was the world premiere of a play, which was written by someone whose work I admire. But he had done, I don't want to mention the guy because he's well known.
Yeah.
But he had written a docudrama. I think HBO, Showtime. It was great. But then, trying to become a playwright, I just said, this has no rhythm. This is going nowhere. It's not creating a cadence.
Yeah.
So I said, no. I said, this needs a lot of work. And they said, yeah, that's why they want you there. He goes out of town. They think that you can help it. But I said, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And then they said, then it's going to be a movie. I said, yeah, and then they're going to call Benicio,
Right,
Toro.
right.
So it's like,
Right.
He can't lure me in with that.
Right.
Not at this stage of my life.
Right. Right.
So,
wait, I want to just show you because I have this written down, Paul. This is a quote from you. If you lock into the rhythm, you find the truth. I was going to talk to you about rhythm because I knew that this was a major part of your approach. But here's the thing I can't understand. Some actors said they weren't finding it, and then somebody just said, it might have even been the director, it probably was, they said, speed it up. And they sped it up and locked into the rhythm, and suddenly the whole thing landed.
Yeah, it can be as simple as that.
When I heard that, I thought, well, that's typically a bad piece of
direction.
direction.
Yeah. But sometimes you need that.
And when I heard you say this, you're basically saying that it's inherent in the writing. The rhythm is inherent in the writing.
If it's good.
Yeah. And so, in other words, the writer is writing in a certain way, and we see this. Like sometimes people even write it in Mamet, writes it into the. You know, you can read it. Almost when you're reading it, it's hard not to.
Right.
You know, lay into the rhythm, right? But if you don't find the rhythm, you're literally playing everything in this other way that it wasn't intended, right? And you can never get to the real truth then. You kind of can't get to the piece.
Oh.
And you've seen plays like this. You've seen plays. You're probably sitting in the audience thinking they haven't found it.
Because in films you can play around with it.
Yeah.
With music and cutting, you can play around and create kind of your own rhythm. Even with a lot of silences, you know, MOSs, you can play with cinematographic rhythm.
Yeah.
But in a play, you're fucked. You're there, you're sitting, and you're trying to follow along, and there's no rhythm to be created. But sometimes the audience has read some reviews, and the audience will say, well, shit, the reviewer said this is great.
Yeah.
So I have to stand up at the end and applaud.
Right.
But you see people just tuning out and falling asleep. You hear that all the time. Oh, I went to see this supposedly great play, but I fell asleep. But it got great reviews.
Yeah.
Many times, if you approach something intellectually from a head center, you're not going to approach it with rhythm.
Yeah.
You're going to approach it as a very static, methodical kind of thing.
Right.
My process has always been, you know, there's got to be an inherent rhythm. There's an inherent rhythm in life.
I imagine it's also like knowing this and knowing that this works for you and knowing that you have to lock in, kind of, if that's the right way to say it. I'm imagining that there's been times when you're playing opposite somebody that hasn't hit the rhythm. And you know it yourself, and you're not the director. I mean, like, what do you do? What do you do in situations like this?
If it's a play, I try to talk to the director. I try to talk to the other actor, but not in a know-it-all kind of way.
Yeah.
But in a way where I can say, hey, listen, let's explore the transitions and beats. Now they're thinking about it all, transitions and beats. Many times actors don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Many times, many directors don't know what that is, but that's basically rhythm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they're open to that, we can get there. I can suggest. I can say, hey, what about this? As opposed to, no, you got to do this.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, then it's like trying to force anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like trying to force love making or anything else.
Right. It's just not gonna. It's just going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And you're a teacher too. So like, how do you build this in somebody from the beginning? You know.
Well, my wife and I, we were trained back in the 70s at Sonia Moore. She wrote a book called The Stanislavski System. She had actually trained with Stanislavski. She had been one of her disciples and also one of Vatangov's disciples. Vatangov was one of, I think, second in command to Stanislavski, and he created his own thing, which was all about rhythm. Mm-hmm. And the Stanislavski that we were learning was post-emotional recall. He was more into the physical actions of the character, which again is all about rhythm.
Right.
So we were taught from first class, we were there 5-6 days a week, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. We were taught to break down a script, break it down, break it down, break it down, break down the speeches. Yes, because it was a pain in the ass. It drives a lot of actors crazy, especially current day actors crazy, because they don't want to think that way. They just want to read, memorize, but 90% of the times you're not getting to the essence of the rhythm.
Yeah.
What the beats and transitions are showing you is there's an inherent rhythm to the scene. There's an inherent rhythm to this character. Yeah. Here's a way to approach it.
Yeah.
As opposed to, if you're an instinctive actor, very rare, If you're an instinctive actor, you pick it up intuitively.
Right. So you don't even have to I mean, yeah, there are people like this where they don't even. It's the same thing for any
musician
any art,
or dancer.
Really.
You just have the rhythm.
Yeah, right.
But those are very, very, very rare. Hard to come by.
Right.
So as actors, we were taught break it down. Because when I look at a script, right, sometimes many people ask me to help them with their script. I look and I say, well, how about this, how about this, how about that? And then they always ask me, how did you see that? How'd you see that? Well, I was trained to see that.
Yeah.
But my wife and I tried doing a script analysis class a couple of years ago, and it just didn't go well because actors just don't have the attention span.
Oh, are you serious? That's
it's just very limited.
You were feeling that from all all the students.
Yeah, they just don't want to. And when I direct, it's the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, when I direct, I ask the actors, let me see their script. It's just marked in yellow. So I have to, without saying it, I have to create the rhythm in the scenes.
Wow. Yeah.
I have to create the beats and transitions because they just want to highlight.
These are people that already have the role. Like they were good because you wouldn't have cast them.
Exactly.
But they just don't have this extra sense of breaking down and going into deep into it like that.
Exactly. So that's where I come in. I say, well, how about this moment? How about that moment? This moment leads to this moment. This moment leads to that moment. Now there's kind of like an inherent pause here and so forth and so on. There's a new subject introduced here. So it becomes kind of magical because it is like music. It is like dance. It is like sports. It is like nature.
Yeah.
It's an inherent.
Yes.
It's like the book of changes, the I Ching. I mean, no line ever stays static. It constantly changes and changes and changes and changes and changes. It just can't. If it's a rigid line, you're dead.
Yeah.
You die.
Tell me some of the directors who have worked best for you and what it was that they said or just their approach to directing that worked for you. Can you give me some of those?
Yeah, I've only worked with 42, 43 years now. I've only worked with about 5 directors that I can say these were directors. This includes film, stage, TV, like 5. That I can say, you know what?
Wait, you're not even saying it. You're saying just the word director.
Yes.
You're not saying like, these are 5 masters that I've worked with.
I'm saying directors. Yeah, directors. The few, Kevin Conway was a great director. He was also a great actor. He would inherently get you to explore the moments inherent in the scene. Al Lamed was also another great director because he would try to get you to inhabit, explore the shifts and changes in scenes, and also where the secrets of a character would peek through then hide. A lot of actors just try to display all their secrecy and their conflicts out here.
Right.
Says no, you can't. You never want to do that. Peeks out from time to time. So pick and choose the moments where that peeks out. Then it pulls back in. Yeah. I remember one time with a TV director. He just told me, "Oh, remember this is the first time your character is seen in this episode." Oh, okay.
And what did that do? That just made.
Don't throw the moment away.
Made it more important.
No, don't throw the moment away.
Right.
But I have to say, there's other directors that just kind of allow you to. Ernest Dickerson is one where he just allows you to play with the scene. If he feels that there's something that he wants, he'll tell you. Yeah. But otherwise, he'll just leave you alone. There are many directors that, especially for TV, they interfere too much.
Give me an example of the interference. Like
they see a moment, they want the moment played their way, the way they're seeing it.
Yeah.
And they don't allow the actor. When I taught directing at NYU for about 5-6 years, I would always tell the actors, always make the actor feel as though it's coming from them.
Yeah.
And always say, what do you think? Sometimes you don't have that that luxury because you're under the gun.
Yeah.
But it's always great to say, what do you think? In theater I do that a lot. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think this will work? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And the actor feels, oh, what? If I think so, then I'm thinking it and not him, so I'm creating it as opposed to the director. So you always want to make the actor feel that it's coming from him.
Yeah. When I see you in this show, Bosch, you're doing really subtle work there. I would expect that somebody trained in the theater, that would be hard to get to that subtlety. Was that a giant learning curve to try and see that or learn that kind of subtlety works on there?
You know what? That's a great question. I was very fortunate early on because I was, I did theater for about 6-7 years with no film, no TV. I mean, that's how I came up.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I started working in film and TV, I was working with Pacino, De Niro, Walken, Keitel, Nolte, Ferrara, Lamed, and so I'm observing.
Yes.
I remember one time I was doing a film with Pacino, and I was friends with one of the associate producers. He was young, he was hungry, and he said, "Come! I want you to watch Al work. Watch. He's not doing anything. Watch." And then when the movie comes out, you see all these fucking things that he's doing. So I sat there and I said, "Yeah, he's not doing anything, but he was. And it's, what are you doing when you're seemingly not doing anything?" I was watching this brilliant actor, Oscar Werner, Austrian actor.
Oh, yeah.
He was just one of my top 5 actors of all time. I was watching him in this film, and he was out of place because he was so organic and real.
Yeah.
This is a 1950s film, so everyone was just staring at each other and saying their lines, and he was processing shit.
Yeah.
He was processing what was being said. He was processing what he was going to say. So he was processing as opposed to, I learned my lines and I'm just, I, the other guy, and I'm going to say it.
Yeah. Observing is such a huge part of like learning, and you take in from other actors. You take in from
and you steal,
Yeah. Was one of your directors Philip Seymour Hoffman? Did Philip Seymour Hoffman?
No, I directed Phil a couple of times.
You directed Phil?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know. Yeah, I thought.
First time I saw Phil was somebody showed me a clip of a soliloquy that he had done for Peter Sellers, one of Peter Sellers' plays that they were doing in Europe, and I said, "Man, this guy's fucking unbelievable." And just watching him, just staring into the camera. And then when I worked with him, he was extremely emotional, but he was also he was very intelligent, and he was a hard worker.
Yeah.
He was hardworking.
Seemed like he was really, really took it seriously.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Sometimes he was difficult to direct because of that, because he would see things his way, But that didn't take away from how brilliant he was. On the other hand, there was another actor that I thought was as brilliant as Phil. And, he's no longer working, but this guy was absolutely brilliant. I mean, brilliant. I don't want to say his name because he's fallen into kind of like a bad time. He's not working. And this guy, on the other hand, he would invite me to go see the place that he was in so I could watch and give him notes.
Yeah.
And
he wanted to improve.
He wanted to improve. But the guy was absolutely just brilliant. But it just goes to show you a lot of times, that you can be as brilliant as they come, but it's these work ethics, work habits, personal and professional, that you have to keep up.
Right. It's just like you hear like the Yo-Yo Ma. He practices every day.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like Yo-Yo Ma doesn't just stop.
No. It's like professional athletes, like Derek Jeter. I always say, hey, listen, Derek Jeter played 21 years, and every day before a game, he was out there taking fielding practice, and he was out there taking batting practice. Why?
Yeah.
He just wanted to polish that.
Because you have this foundation in the theater, does it bother you that things aren't rehearsed when you're on TV? Like you're on this TV show right now. Like, do you, or have you just gotten used to this? Like,
you have to get used to it, because many times you show up on set and they're under the gun. You have to understand it, because I've been on the other side. And you know that sometimes you can't fucking rehearse. You would love to. Lamette used to have 2 weeks of rehearsals.
2 weeks booked into the budget.
Yeah, before he would shoot a fucking film. But on the other hand, Woody Allen wouldn't even let you have a script. You would just show up on set and he would say, don't act. Wow. I tell my students, you have to be ready to understand that. So you have to be ready to put the work in and have some choices. And if I show up on set, right, and the director says, hey, listen, do you mind shooting the rehearsal? Hey, sure. Because I know that they're gonna light. I know they're gonna set up the camera angles. So within that period of time, I'm rehearsing the movements, I'm rehearsing the shit that I'm gonna do, as opposed to I'm just gonna wing it.
Yeah.
So I use that as a very concentrated rehearsal process that the actor is not privy to, because most actors, when you see them on set, they'll call out second team, and then they go and they start playing with their phones, and 90% of the time...
Wait, this is actors?
Yeah.
Playing on their phones?
Yeah, they go and they start checking, many of them. I mean, it's an epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
They're taking pictures on the set, and they're posting them on Instagram and Facebook.
You're talking about like shooting is about to happen, or it has happened, and you're between shots.
In between, yeah. I remember one time I'm doing a fucking scene, and I see one of the other actors taking a fucking picture of me, smiling. God. And they broke my concentration.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't want to yell at her, but afterwards I said, listen, I looked this way, and you were there taking a picture of me. So,
and this has become a normal thing. Like, this is normal. Like, like the director didn't yell, hey, you just...
Yeah, you have a phone
didn't
break.
Even notice.
No. Titus is you never see him on the phone. I take messages, I have a family, but it's this thing where you're sitting in your cast chair, and I'm like...
Yeah.
And it just drives me fucking bananas, because I know that they're not putting any work into the fucking scene.
Yeah. It's time that could be spent like trying to make things better.
Yeah, so when the director, when the first AD says second team, if I know it's moderately complex scene where I'm gonna have to repeat my movements, and I know, and I always ask the DP, how are you gonna shoot it? So I know what the angles are. So I'm rehearsing all that.
Yeah.
I'm there rehearsing my movements, rehearsing where the camera is gonna be, so I don't get, I'm not surprised by anything, and so I can get more comfortable with what I'm doing. Because if you try to wing it, and you know that you're gonna have to repeat those fucking movements over and over, that's one of the handcuffs that an actor has. So that's why many times on TV, you don't see actors moving.
Right.
They just stand there and they just sit there. I try to break that by trying to, if I feel that the scene needs some kind of movement, I do it. But during, changing the lights and this and that, I'm constantly rehearsing those movements, because I know that I'm going to have to repeat them.
Abel Ferrara is having a retrospective at MoMA this month.
Yes, I saw him last night.
You did. You were at the party. Tell me about working with that guy.
I met Abel in 84, 85, Miami Vice episode. He had seen me and several other actors in a play here in New York, and he wanted to cast us in a Miami Vice episode, and that's when I first met Abel. Next time I saw him was in '89, and my agent at the time, I walked into his office. He said, "Yeah, we just got a call from this crazy guy. He wants you to be in his movie." And we said no, and we threw the script away. This was when they were still delivering hard copy scripts. Yes. He said, "Where is it?" And it was in the trash. And I pulled it out. I said, "It's pretty good." I said, "It said King of New York." And I said, who? I said, "Wait a minute." And then I looked at who wrote it, right? Nicky St. John and Abel Ferrara. I said, "I know Abel." And my agent said, "Yeah, but he sounds like a nut." No, I'll do the film. So it was always a treat working with Abel. I got to learn a lot from Abel. He was living this loft on 18th Street, right around the corner from Barnes & Noble on 5th Avenue. And he would just ask me to come over and help him audition actors, help him develop scripts, and it was just an amazing time back in the late 80s and early 90s with Abel. And, brilliant, crazy, but probably one of the most honest guys that I've ever met.
And that matters.
Yes.
Both for what? For trust that you need?
Yes, for trust, that you would do anything for the guy, because you knew that he had your back, you knew that he believed in you, and you knew that he was going to try and intentionally fuck you over. Mm-hmm. And I can't say that about most of the people that I've ever worked with.
You never see a director going on and on talking about how a particular actor wasn't cast in his movie and how amazing that was. But there's a video of Quentin Tarantino talking about how you absolutely killed the audition for Jules. And like, it's I mean, that's the word it kept using over and over. And other people are chiming in the interview, like saying, you nailed it, killed it, twice.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought once, he said twice. He thought twice. I think the casting directors thought twice. I thought I could have done a hell of a lot better. I was thrown off, I have to admit, in the second audition.
The way they set it up is like, the second audition was like an hour and a half. And they gave it, they wanted you and Sam, at different times, and then coming in and But the reason why I'm bringing this up, I mean, normally we don't even hear about this stuff, but you got through it. You have a career. Some people don't get through this. Some people, this breaks them. This kind of thing.
Yes, some people wind up killing themselves.
I mean, it's literally that much emotion.
I thought about opening the plane hatch on my way back to New York. I could be sucked into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
I actually auditioned 3 times. I remember going in Saturday afternoon, and he said, "Yeah, I have this role for you, the role that I'm on the plane in the movie."
Yeah.
He said, "But I want to see what you can do with, you mind just reading it?" Yeah. So I understood the rhythm that Quentin had written down.
That's one of those guys that writes in a rhythm.
And I said, this sounds a lot like Fishburne's rhythms. And I told him that. He said, I don't want to...
Wait, no, he said that. That's common knowledge.
He said, I wrote it for Fishburne.
Yeah.
I said, I could see.
You called that?
Yeah.
You saw it.
I saw it. I said, these are Fishburne's rhythms.
Yeah.
So having worked with Fishburne on several occasions, even on stage, I said, it wasn't imitating it, but giving it my own spin. And it was like, someone daring you to surf, and you just tuning in, or riding a horse, and you just tuning in, you just kind of like let the surfboard or the horse take off with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went in, I read on Saturday, I remember there was kind of like a silence there, and the producer was also there. I forget his name.
Lawrence Bender?
Lawrence was there. And you remember there was kind of like a silence, and then Quentin said, "Do you mind coming in tomorrow and doing the rest of the season?" So, I wasn't going to say no.
That must have been the one that he says was killed. Use the word killed over and over and over again.
Well, I had never had a director when I came in the next day, and I read with him.
Yeah.
And I'd never had a director. At the end of my audition, it was just me, Quentin, and Lawrence, and then there was a silence, and then Quentin just started applauding.
That must have felt good. Right?
Yeah, so the third audition was kind of like, it was problematic, and I was flown out. I was staying with a friend that just wouldn't shut up. Not blaming him, but we got to the Culver City studios, I think it was, on a Sunday afternoon. And my friend was so nervous for me.
Yeah.
I was trying to block him out with my Walkman. That's all. So I was trying to. He had a Jeep, right? So I'm just trying to tune him out. He was just talking and talking while driving me to the studio, right? And we get to the studio, right? And then all of a sudden, I hear a crash. I open my eyes, I look back, and I see, those gates that come down?
Yeah.
And he had driven right through it. And, and then I see the security guard running.
Oh, God.
After us. And then I got there, the security guard to talk to my friend, get it down, and then I went to the audition space, and Lawrence was there, some producers was there, and I said, "Oh, great, I'm ready to go. Where's Quentin?" He said, "He's not here." I remember going, "Oh." So I was ready, so I said, "Oh, is there a bathroom here?" So I went into the bathroom, and I settled myself, breathe. I came back out, and where's Quentin? Oh, he's not here. Then Quentin barges in. He, LA traffic.
Yeah.
He was just crazy. Yeah. So then we did the audition, and I didn't read with Quentin. I read with somebody else, and that's.
Did that kind of throw you off? Is that what?
I don't want to blame anyone for what, because I didn't get the role. I did my best with what I had. Ronnie Yesko, who was the casting director, thought I was amazing.
Yeah.
In that audition. And the thing is, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And I gotta live with that.
Yeah.
I gotta live with that it wasn't meant to be. I'm reminded of it like every other month or every other hour. Hey, listen, my name is Paul, this is between you all and this and that, which is improv.
Oh my God.
When you said, hey,
I have a friend that says he owes you residual checks because he uses that line
over
bar
and
so
that was
much.
Quentin just saying, hey, listen, just say this line, and but it was, it was a great experience working with Quentin, being on the set, and it just wasn't meant to be, and I had to fly back home. And
how do you recover? How do you recover from that?
Oh fuck! Luckily, my wife was very supportive. Remember, she waited up for me, just back in New York, and she said, as soon as you walked through that door, I could see that you didn't get it, but she supported me through the process of a huge disappointment, and I continued working, and I did a lot of theater. I was also part of the Labyrinth Theater Company, so I just didn't hole up in my apartment and drink booze and shoot up. A lot of actors will do that. Yes. It wasn't that I didn't feel, but of course I felt fucking bad. Yeah. Or in times that I don't go back in time and relive those moments. Oh fuck, what if I had done this? What if I had done that? But it's like it wasn't meant to be. And Sam, just amazing in the role, and he had worked so hard in his own life to get to another level, and he did. And more power to them. But it's hard because when I audition actors, I have to audition actors because, we the Labyrinth Theater Company and for this other company that I'm co-artistic director of now, I just recently cast a play that I wrote and I auditioned actresses, 6 different actresses from the company. Then my thing, even when I was at Labyrinth, when I was directing stuff, I would call the actors that I didn't cast and soften the blow. Quentin had called me. He said, we got to talk. But try to soften it. But I remember one actress took it really personally that I didn't cast her. And all of them did, because you always, when you audition for something, you always feel, as an actor, you have, many times we have this distorted lens, I was the best at it, and I could have done it, I could have done the best job, but there's so many factors, and just wasn't meant to be, like good luck, bad luck.
The long version of the bad video, directed by Martin Scorsese. You play this character in there, a drug
on the corner,
drug deal. The way you walked with this cane, you put it in the middle. It's almost like crotch. It's almost like it's right on your crotch. It's almost like your crotch is moving. This is hard for people to know what I'm doing on a podcast. You're moving. It's like both hands are almost in your crotch area and moving with it. You just got to tell me, like, that physicality of that totally made that character real to me. Just tell me if you even remember what the hell I'm talking about.
I was doing a play with De Niro right here, as a matter of fact, back in 80s. When
you're saying right here, the Public.
At the Public Theater, which we then moved to Broadway. I was doing the role of that character, a demented drug dealer. Scorsese came to see the play here and then asked me if I would recreate the role. But he wasn't as, in the play he was really fucking demented and crazy. But I lived with that limp 6 months. We actually put a pebble, jagged pebble
in your foot,
sole of my foot, so I couldn't step on it. If I did, I would get And then the cane became an extension of.
I knew there was a story, dude. I knew it. Have you encouraged your children to take this up?
One tried. I was teaching at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute for a few years, and one of them wanted to try acting, and I told my wife no. She said, no, you gotta let him try to encourage him. I said, okay, all right. He tried it and he realized, shit, I gotta memorize this number of lines because he was an athlete. And he blew out his shoulder so he couldn't play anymore. I gotta memorize these lines and I gotta do all these silly exercises, relaxation exercises. Gave it up. The other one has no intention, so I'm kind of glad in the sense that it's a hard life.
That's why.
It's a hard life. It's, if you don't have thick skin, and even with thick skin, it's fucking hard, the rejection level. And then it's just putting everything into, like on Instagram and Facebook, you see people posting their pictures over and over, taking pictures of themselves. It's like, people that I know really well, why are you taking pictures of yourself? It's like, you exist. But they're posting pictures over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's a hard life.
Yeah. But
it can be a rewarding life. It's a very rewarding life. I don't regret anything that I've ever done. It allowed me to explore myself, people, cultures, history, psychology, painting, this and that. It was just, Without it, I probably would have wound up back in the service,
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you're here. Paul Calderon, thank you so much.
Thank you,
really
Peter.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter.
I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
Back to One is a production of Filmmaker Magazine, which is a publication of IFP, the Independent Filmmaker Project. Listen to back episodes of this podcast at filmmakermagazine.com or wherever you get your podcasts.